I want to say something about black women, and this was my mother, and I God is my witness right now. May the Lord strike me down if I'm lying. My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before we, I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal, my older brother going off to the big boy school, and my mum sat us down. She said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman.
This conversation started when a brown content creator on TikTok, decided to address black women because of some certain things that some people are saying about black women, especially the viral Andrew Charles comment about black women, the same stereotypes that you've been hearing all the time. It's not like it's something new, but this brown content creator decided to address it. And in his video, he said his mother told him something when he was very young, and his mother told him that wherever you find yourself and you're in trouble or you are in distress, just make sure to find a black woman. And this triggered so many women and even black men on the internet, even on Twitter as well. So this video made its way to X, so people are having this conversation. When he said his mother told him that whenever he's in trouble or something, he should just look for black women because black women are the most nurturing and all of that. And it sparked a lot of conversation, and people are saying we are recognized for this, and on the other hand, we are called aggressive, we are called this and that, we're in given position, these are the things they shit on us because we're black women. But it's just a sad truth that there are percentage of people who actually have this mindset. So this sparked a lot of conversation and people are coming in on it. If you want to see his own video, you will have to go and watch the very first part. But this is going to be the part 2 of what people are saying, because this conversation can be a bit emotional, but as well, I am enjoying it, and I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation as well. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it.
Recently, a South Asian man from the UK came on here and he said that his mom told him that anywhere he's in the world, if he needs help, find a black woman. And there are hundreds of women who took it as a compliment, rightfully so, because that's their right. And they're being called mammies and whatnot by another demographic of black women. And while that is their right not to feel that it's a compliment because of their lived experience and their relationship with their blackness and how they exist within their society, I'm not here to undermine that. But I'm here to speak to the women who are being called mammies. You're not wrong for taking it as a compliment, because not all of us have the same lived experience. Not all of us grew up in oppressive societies. Not all of us see helping as a burden, right? I can speak for myself. Growing up in the Caribbean, growing up as a Dominican woman, there's never been a time where my kindness was gendered, where kindness is gendered, where help is gendered. The men help just as much as the women. There's not this overwhelming burden on the women to be good people. I've never not felt supported by the men in my society. I've never not felt protected by the men in my society. I can depend on the protection of the men in my society. There are many times where I've seen certain things happen. I'm like, West Indian men would never just stand by and let this happen. Those of us who did not grow up in individualistic societies, we don't see help as a burden. We don't keep a tally. We don't see it as something transactional, because it's not just us doing it, it's the society doing it. So I help you, you help me. It's just part of being a good neighbor. It's part of being a good person. And we are allowed to have that attitude towards helping, because 9 times out of 10, when we look around, we're helped every single day. I grew up in a community where if you don't have food today, you can tell your neighbor and they'll give you food until your paycheck comes. Or if you can't get to work because you're low on cash, you can talk to the bus driver and be like, okay, at the end of the month, I'll pay you back, and they'll drop you to work every week. Or you can go to somebody and be like, hey, I'm low on cash. Can I catch a ride with you this week? And they'll bring you to work every day. We're not deprived of support. So therefore, the idea of depriving other people of support is kind of weird to us. So you don't have to feel bad because you took what he said as a compliment. Okay? The women who aren't taking it as a compliment is because there's imbalance in their lived experience, not through any fault of their own, just because they live in an oppressive society. They have not been helped. They have not been supported. They have not been given what we have. So therefore, they can't take these things as a compliment the way that we do. So while I will not discredit their experience, because it's very real and it's very hard to watch, and I wish they had a different reality, but we shouldn't be made to feel bad because of ours and our responses, because we are able to hear these words differently. So it's hitting our spirit differently. I'm not saying that there aren't any, issues and nuances within our society, but as a whole, historically, we don't exist in a space where we are not also given help and support. To my sisters who saw that as a compliment, hats off to you. Don't feel bad. Being kind feels good to me. Being unkind makes me sick, because it's not me. And nobody and nothing, not history, not anything, will cause me to not be me. And don't let anybody bully you into thinking it's cool to be unkind when that's what you want to be.
If you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, Look for a black woman.
Census time. I need to know if this is a piece of advice that was given to a wide range of people. Disclaimer, this is not meant to attack him. I actually follow him. I find this video very sincere. It's just kind of tone deaf and I'm just tired. And, you know, he's done like a part 2, like a sort of follow-up apology video, whatever. I'm not creating drama at all. But I just want to know for my own sanity and my own just, you know, grasp of knowledge. Is this something that a lot of people have been told? Because it's actually making me sad. Like, first and foremost, have you ever considered that a black woman doesn't want you coming up to her? Maybe, like, sometimes, obviously, I'm not saying that I'm not going to help you, that we're not going to help you. Obviously, community spirit and that, and helping other people is a great thing. It's a great thing. But, like, what if I'm tired? What if I'm going through something? What if I need help? But, like, part 2, yeah, this is something that, like, me, my mum, my sister, like, a lot of the black women that I know, we experience on, like, a pretty regular basis. I've been experiencing this since I was a teenager. You can be out and about in town, whether that was in London or now when I'm in the Midlands. And the thing is, you'll be one of the only, like, black people around, and a tourist, a white person, like, any random person, of all of the people in the vicinity, they'll come up to you as a black woman and ask you for help, ask you for directions, ask you for rare-ta-ta. And it's like, is this something that people actually teach their kids? Because unteach it, please. Because, like, the thing is, I will be walking around, headphones on, music blasting. Like, I'll be walking quickly, like a woman on a mission. And the thing is, I'll help them because if there's one thing my parents raised me to be, it's polite, it's helpful, you know, it's to be kind, all of that sort of stuff. So I will help you. But I'm just trying to understand, is this something that you're actually taught? Of everyone in the vicinity, you ask me. And I don't think I have a very, like, welcoming face. Like, when I've got a resting face, I've got a downturned mouth. Like, I'm tired. We're tired collectively. Bro, when I learned about Magic Negro, I thought it wasn't real. But it turns out it is. It's not just for movies. It's for real life. Anyway, unteach your kids, please.
Morning. So I thought I'd ice my face as per usual while I talk about the whole dumpster fire that's going on X and TikTok as it pertains to the creator who made the whole Dear Black Women complimentary video. Also, he thought. So if you don't know, I'll catch you up super quickly. Basically, a creator on this app, an Indian man who I've seen before, and to be honest, his content is more enlightened than the average guy, I would say. He talks about sexism, misogyny, and a lot of things, and he seemed to make a lot of sense until his latest video, which is titled Dear Black Women. And I think I understand his intention. He was basically saying his mum told him a lesson, and it was, anywhere in the world, if you are ever in trouble or, quote unquote, I think he did say in danger or something, you should look for a black woman because black women will always help you. Black women are good at helping women and children, all these things, and it was meant as a really big compliment, and a lot of black women took it that way. That's very important. Point number 1. A lot of black women actually took it as a compliment and thanked him and said, wow, yeah, almost like, thank you for seeing our humanity or something like that. So Twitter was not impressed, as it always isn't. A lot of people have had various reactions. I might put some on the screen, but the main reaction is it perpetuates the mammy trope. And if you know what that is, if you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. I'm not going to make this a history lesson this morning because I want to cover everything in the time that I have. So it perpetuates the mammy trope and this idea that black women specifically are only, I would say, are only, like, valuable or should be, you know, appreciated if they're of service and if they're helping someone, like servitude. And this is where I think a person can be so well-meaning, like the guy who made the video, but just because you're well-meaning doesn't mean you can't still perpetuate stereotypes. I think he was very well-meaning, but I don't think he thought about this stereotype that he would be perpetuating, saying, if you're anywhere in the world and you need help, look for a black woman. So this is the first thing that struck me. And a creator that I really like called Soft Wife Life, I might tag her because I wanted to stitch, but her stitches are off. She basically said it's not a compliment because I bet you, the mum of this guy didn't also tell him the lesson of if you're anywhere in the world, look for a black woman to spoil, look for a black woman to ease her burden. Like, did the mum tell him that lesson? Did the mum say that? So therein lies the problematic nature, and I want to go over some stuff I've seen through X as well. So I thought this was really interesting. Someone was agreeing and they said, oh, a man wants to show us love and appreciation. You know, what's the problem? And then the person who disagreed said this very rightfully so. If love and protection is what labor and protection you offer as a Black woman and you like that, enjoy it. The rest of us have every right to rebuke it. So I think this person is trying to say Black women aren't just valuable to protect and to love and to be seeked out for help. And I think that this is where the original creator kind of missed the point, and this was his blind spot. And apparently he's already uploaded a follow-up video. I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But yeah, this is the main thing, and this is the blind spot. Someone said Black women need protection and support and not empty flattery, and I think something about validation. And yes, another person rightly pointed out, does he have videos reciprocating the love he received, like the love that he received in question? Has he helped women that look like the women he is seeking help from, essentially? Overall, like, this conversation is really interesting in terms of, like, the idea that just because you mean well doesn't mean you'll miss out very, I would say, obvious stereotypes and tropes in your messaging. And another really important thing to point out is if you aren't a woman of color, Black woman, I would not recommend this mode of thinking, because, like, for example, just because you see a Black woman doesn't mean she wants to help you. That's another thing to be very aware of. But I want to know what people think. I think I basically covered everything I want to cover. I personally think from his previous content, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he was well-meaning in his messaging, but I do think he missed a very obvious trope, which is the mammy trope, which has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Another really important thing I want to say, I think I'm done icing my face now, is that Black women are valuable whether or not they're helping you. I don't know if that is something that is apparent, but I think something that could have helped his messaging if he were to redo it in an alternate universe where people didn't see his first video, because now it's a bit too late. But if he were to redo it, I would have told him or advised him to add, or he should have added that Black women are valuable whether or not they're helping you. That is the main thing. And I think that is the trope that people are annoyed at, that he didn't cover. And he also didn't cover the important point of saying, like, you should also seek out Black women to help and, to give back the much wanted help you wanted from a Black woman. You should give that back. You should seek Black women to elevate them, to prop them up, spoil them, if you will, like the soft wife life said. But he didn't add any of that. It was just sort of like, if you need help, you're in danger, look for a Black woman. So I think that is the disconnect that he missed, and maybe he covered that in his follow-up video. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but haven't watched it yet, but I probably will. Yeah, I want to know what people think, and yeah, interesting morning as always. I'm gonna finish my coffee and get on with my day, because this is not the point of my whole day. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that. Okay, bye.
What do you guys think about what they all said? It's not like what these content creators said is wrong, but they are going to say all those things and claim all those things about Black women, but in the same breath, still call them aggressive. They are still going to call them certain things. They are still going to say so many demeaning things about them. They are still going to deny them of position that they deserve just because they are Black women. So to a lot of people, it's not making sense, and this is where this reaction is coming from. And a lot of people think that video is actually tone deaf, and some believe that as someone who has been creating content, it definitely has an understanding of what he's doing, Maybe he just wants some traction. This person said, the audacity, especially when many in his community will never do the same for Black women or kids. I felt like he was also masculinizing us, but how is a Black woman going to help a grown man from danger? This is another one. Another one said he's a smart man. The fact that he didn't mention not once about Black women deserving of that same protection, especially having Black women friends himself, shows it doesn't see us that way. I think he's well meaning, but I don't think he sees the relationship as reciprocal. Considering he's in a relationship with a white woman, only shows it does not see us outside of his protectors. Yes, he mentioned Malcolm X, yet didn't internalize it enough to mention how we should receive the same treatment that we give. We are the attack dogs, and when it's time for us to be treated with grace and mercy, they are nowhere to be found. And that's exactly what one of the stitch in the first part was talking about. Like, if a Black woman continues to pour, if they continues to give, if they continue to protect, if they continue to fight, who is fighting back for them? Who is protecting them? Who is giving back to them? Literally, who is filling back their own cup as well? Or does that mean they don't need protection? This one said, I scrolled past that video yesterday because it just sounds and seems wrong to me. I don't know. Seeking protection from Black women, yet he married a white woman. So Black women are only there for his protection. Another one said, have we forgotten that the American experience isn't universal? And that is his experience as a little Asian boy in the 90s in the UK, that he are generalizing, projecting and applying to themselves. Maybe I'm skeptical, but I find it hard to believe he did not know the implication of what he was saying. Maybe just added a viral video or something, just needed a viral video or something. This one said, this highlights the negative nuances in this topic despite the honest intention. And this creator replied and said, yeah, it is bittersweet, it is nice, but at what cost? Last one I have here said, there is an expectation of us to always be that safe place where others withdraw rather than deposit into Black women and Black girls. Sign, exhausted Black woman. This is a very good conversation to have because I think it's needed. Black people pour into so many people. They are known to be nurturing, and in the same breath, they are still called so many demeaning things. So let me hear what you guys think about this reaction. Let me hear what you think about this video as well. I will catch you guys in the next one.